The Raw after WrestleMania took place tonight in Las Vegas, Nevada at T-Mobile Arena. To start the show off, we had a recap of WrestleMania Night 1 and 2, and then we went to some superstar arrivals. First, we see Liv Morgan arriving with the rest of the Judgment Day, consisting of Raquel Rodriguez, Roxanne Perez, Dominic Mysterio, and JD Mcdana. And then we see Rhea Ripley and Io Sky arriving together to Raw for the last time, as Rhea is now going to SmackDown. And then we go into the arena. Oba Femi kicks off the show. He is massively over. In some ways, as he was doing his strut to the ring, everyone's chanting, Oba, Oba. He's so over in some ways. It reminded me of 2 years ago when Cody Rhodes came out after WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia, and he's just like, feels like he's on top of the world, and it's just the energy in that arena, and then, The Rock would come out. That was so much more exciting than this, but, it almost reminds me, like, whenever you get that spot to come out after WrestleMania, you're so over, and, they have to choose the right guy to do that. And also, 10 years prior to when Cody came out, Daniel Bryan, when he came out on Raw in New Orleans after WrestleMania 30, and he just was so over. It's really one of the best spots to have all year, starting Raw off after WrestleMania, and this promo is exactly what it needed to be. They're doing a great job of building up Oba. All he said was, "The ruler has arrived," and he put the mic down, and that was it. That's all he needed to say, just like last night. That's all they needed to do. They're doing a tremendous job with Oba Femi. It's one of the better starts to a career in WWE history. It really is. Like the first few months, how else could you start any better than what he's done? It's up there. It really is. We had a Kabuki Warriors promo, a video promo. Then Io Sky was out next, followed by Rhea Ripley, who of course got a big pop. Then the Kabuki Warriors came out. We had Rhea Ripley and Io Sky against Asuka and Kairi Sane. They had a fun tag team match which obviously Rhea and Io won. Rhea hit a riptide to Kairi Sane, and Io hit the over the moonsault to pin her. Asuka yelled at Kairi on the outside after the match. She was angry with her. So, I guess, the match was what you would expect. It was a fun match, entertaining match. Rhea and Io go out together. They win. It's the end of Rio, end of an era in a way. But with Asuka and Kairi, I don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to have Asuka and Io at Backlash? Probably not. I really don't know. Adam Pearce talked to Penta backstage. Then Javon Evans said he would be champion. Penta left, and after he said his catchphrase. And then Adam Pearce introduces Ethan Paige, a newest signee to Raw. It led to a match being made between Ethan and Javon Evans after they argued. So he is officially on Raw. He's out of NXT. He had a great run in NXT, Ethan Paige. Came in about 2 years ago, had a great run there, was NXT champion, was NXT North American champion. Nothing else to do in NXT. He came in from AEW, went to NXT, had a great run. Now he's on the main roster where he needs to be now. So the match would happen later in the show. Los Americanos came out during the break, insulted the crowd. Oh my God, I don't care. CM Punk walks through the gorilla, and he does the same entrance as last night. I guess that's his new entrance. We're just going to see him walking backstage, walking through a gorilla, and then he just does it's clobbering time, and then they play Cult of Personality. I don't know. So he gets on the microphone. He talks about losses in his life. He mentions members of the WWE family who died. He also mentioned Duke Rufus, his MMA trainer. He mentioned Larry the dog, his dog. He loves his dog. We all know Larry, how much he loved him. And he, if there was anyone else, the people in WWE who had passed away, he attributed all of them on his jacket. And he mentions Jey Uso. He gets booed, which was funny. That was actually funny. And then Cody Rhodes comes out. He's sporting a black eye. Cody actually came out in sunglasses. He took them off, and you see a black eye. It looks a lot better than it did on Saturday when it looked like he broke his fucking orbital bone, and it was so puffed up. Maybe it was prosthetics or makeups they put on there. I don't know. Anyway, he's a really bad black eye for Cody Rhodes. But still, it's not puffed up like it was. Cody and Punk talk. They tease tension between them. I thought this sucked. It went on too long. Sadly, there was no fuck TKO chance. Not on this segment, not all night. We needed to have fuck TKO chance. last night on the recap show after WrestleMania, Roman Reigns was on the panel. He mentioned TKO. The fans started chanting outside of Las Vegas and outside of Allegiant Stadium started chanting, "Fuck TKO. Fuck TKO." That needs to be chanted. Fuck TKO. Anyway, in T-Mobile Arena, they just didn't chant it, sadly. But they teased a match. I mean, they're eventually going to do it. I think the match at WrestleMania was always going to be Cody and Punk for this past show, but Rollins, everything changed after Rollins got hurt because I think they were going to do Rollins and Reigns. And, the spot Punk had against Roman, that was going to be Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, and then it was going to be Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. Then a lot happened. Seth Rollins gets hurt, and he gives up the world title. After that, after Rollins is out, they go with they put the belt on Punk. So then they have Roman. They were thinking about doing Roman Cody 3. They went with Roman and Punk, and then they were thinking Cody Drew Randy. I don't know, Cody Drew Randy Jacob. Eventually, they went with Cody and Randy for the night one main event. So injuries really changed everything. But I definitely think the plan was always to have Roman Reigns beat Seth Rollins at WrestleMania to win the World Heavyweight Championship because he got pinned by Seth last year in the main event at 41. So. Anyway, Ethan Page, we had a Balor Club promo first. Finn, he just needs to stay as the Demon. Nobody cares about this Finn Balor. He cuts a promo on JD. I mean, no one cares about boring Finn Balor. I used to rant when I was doing videos years ago on LRMania. You can check them out from like 2017 through like 2020 before I took a break and came back last year. I would always say Finn Balor is boring. Nobody cares about Finn Balor in his leather jacket. No one cares about this regular, boring Finn Balor. People want to see the Demon. He needs to be the Demon. If he's going to be a babyface, there's no Judgment Day now. He's not in any group. He's on his own again. Finn Balor needs to be the Demon, and we need to see it at least every month. Maybe not every episode of Raw, but we need to see it on all the PLEs and at least some Raws throughout the year. We need to see multiple Raws throughout the year. No one gives a shit about this Finn Balor. That's why he got sent down to NXT several years ago, and it looked like he was going to be done with the company, to be honest, and they brought him back with Judgment Day. He is boring as regular Finn Balor in a leather jacket. No one cares about that. We want the Demon. So Ethan Page was out next. Then Javon Evans came out. We got Javon Evans against Ethan Page. Rusev distracted Javon Evans, allowing Ethan to get the win. After the match, Rusev attacked Javon, and then he put him in the accolade before Penta made the save. So I wanted to mention this. The front row was full of green shirts with smiley faces. The guy in green, so I don't know, I guess he had extra shirts. He gave everyone in the front row a green smiley shirt, so he had like a whole guy in green front row. Anyways, back to this. So Paige attacked Penta, allowing Rusev to put Penta in the accolade. Then they talk about Hulk Hogan. They promote the documentary series, which, I mean, they've shown too much of it now. It's like, I feel like I've seen most of it before it even airs on Wednesday. And by the way, is it going to be like the Mr. McMahon documentary where they drop an episode every week? Or is it going to be like WWE Unreal in which they just release all the episodes on one day? So I'm interested to see how they do that. Judgment Day were backstage. They head to the ring as a group next. They show Paige and the Bellachins in the crowd. I thought they were going to do something with Paige and the Bellas with Liv and Roxanne and Raquel or something, but that never happened. They were just there. I guess they'll be on SmackDown probably, or maybe, I don't know. Or the women's tag team styles usually on Raw. I don't know. I guess they can be on SmackDown or Raw. I don't know. So Judgment Day was out to Liv's theme. They came out to her Trouble theme. Trouble, trouble. They chant, "You deserve it" to Liv. Liv says that's the smartest thing you've said all day. She thanks the Judgment Day. Then she thanks Stephanie Vaquer. And then she's interrupted by, coming to the main roster now, Sol Ruka, who comes out as a surprise. Happy to see her on the main roster. Think it's time for her to come up. I'm not sure if she's the only woman who's coming up, though. Sol puts over Liv. Liv tells her to get out of her ring. Adam Pearce comes out and makes a match between Sol and Liv. Then they do the signs of the night. They aired this on the Netflix broadcast. Well, at least I don't know if it was live. I just saw it on Netflix. So we get Sol Ruka and Liv Morgan. So decent matchup here. Sol, it was actually longer, I felt like, than the Liv Morgan-Stephanie Vaquer match at WrestleMania. I'm still upset about that. Fucking 7 minutes for a Women's World Championship match. And I have to say this. I mean, it was such a step down this year at WrestleMania for the woman compared to last year's. I mean, you had that incredible triple threat classic between Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley last year. You had nothing even close to that. The matches this year for the women were not good. I mean, the best was Rhea and Jade, and that's sad. That was just okay. I mean, I thought that would be the worst. The women's tag match wasn't really any good. Becky and AJ wasn't good. And then you had Stephanie and Liv was the worst one for the women's. I mean, it's disappointing. I mean, a couple years ago, Bayley and Io had a great match at WrestleMania 40. And Becky and Rhea had a great match as well. Was maybe not as good as Bayley and Io was, but both matches at WrestleMania 40 for the woman delivered. 39, you had that classic between Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley on night one, and Bianca Belair and Asuka had a really good match on night two. 38, that great match with Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair. Then 37, you had Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, great match. Like there's been great women's matches at every WrestleMania except this one. I think the last there's Charlotte and Rhea and during the WrestleMania during the pandemic, so. And then the year before is when they main evented WrestleMania. Charlotte Asuka at 34. I mean, almost every year there was a great match. Maybe 33 didn't have a good women's match. It's crazy how bad the women performed this year at WrestleMania. Not to their fault. They didn't have any time. And the matches Triple H booked, which were not meant to be quality, great matches. So, had to mention that. WrestleMania 42 for the women, definitely one of the worst since, post Women's Evolution. It's probably one of the worst WrestleMania performances for the woman in general. Perhaps the worst. It's kind of sad. So, in this match, what happened was after Soul hit the Soul Snatcher to Liv, what happens is Zarya attacked Soul Ruka on the outside, and then Soul got back in. She immediately took an Oblivion from Liv and got pinned. So, I thought, wow, Zarya and Soul better get on the plane soon. So, they're going to have to fly tomorrow morning to Orlando, have a match. That's kind of, I don't know, there might be jet lag for that match. I'm not sure that good that last woman's standing match is going to be tomorrow on NXT. And I'm thinking, why couldn't they just do an NXT in Orlando? Do an NXT taping, a TV taping in Orlando? That would have been pretty good. Not Orlando, Las Vegas. Do one in Las Vegas like they did last year. You can find a venue to do, at the Park MGM, you can do an NXT live in Vegas, but they had to do it in Orlando for some reason. I don't know. Everyone's there anyway. It's probably just easier just to do the show in Vegas than to fly everyone back on a day's notice to Orlando. What happened was Stephanie Vaquer came out. She stared down Liv Morgan, so clearly that feud's not over. They show a highlight package of Brock Lesnar's career, and playing was I Stand Alone by Godsmack. It goes from his early years, his debut, the first 2 years of Brock Lesnar, to his UFC run when he became UFC champion, to his return to the WWE in 2012, of course, breaking the Undertaker streak at WrestleMania 30. Really well produced and great a great video package. And it was such on short notice. I mean, they couldn't celebrate him like John Cena because, he announced it for a whole year, or even AJ Styles. They kind of had some notice for that at least. Here it just kind of happened. So, the way they teased it tonight doesn't make me think Brock's coming back. So I think this is it for Brock Lesnar, and I probably will make a video on his career retrospective on Brock Lesnar later in the week, because I think this is probably it. Division we're out next. Paul Heyman came out with them with Logan Paul and Austin Theory. Talked about Brock's retirement. He was angry because they didn't put him in the Forever, the Then Now Forever, when it's the WWE production, and he puts over Brock. Says he's the baddest. He wanted to say baddest motherfucker in the world, but he had to censor himself. He took the mic away, and he was clearly saying that. And he really puts over Brock. There was "Thank You, Brock" chants, and really cool moment. But then Logan Paul cuts a promo on I Show Speed. The fans hate Logan here. They're just booing him like crazy. And then Paul says he's willing to repay Gunther. And I was thinking, Brock at SummerSlam. Then the way Gunther talked later in the show, I don't think that's where we're heading at all. Then Paul Heyman, he introduces Braun Breaker. He cuts a promo, but then Seth attacks Division with a chair. They beat down Seth. Then the Street Profits make the save. Yes, the Street Profits, they're back. It's been so long. Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. I mean, everyone's saying Montez Ford was as big as Angelo Dawkins now. No, they actually had their shirts off because Ford looked in great shape. I remember hearing that he gained all this weight. No, he looked in great shape. And, of course, his wife, Bianca Belair, announced her pregnancy on WrestleMania on Saturday. So congratulations again to Montez and Bianca. But they fought off division. They fought Logan Paul and Austin Theory into the crowd. Then it was just Seth and Braun in the ring. So what happens was Braun was busted open really badly here. Something happened, I guess, on the interaction with the Street Profits, but Braun's cut. So there's a lot of blood this weekend. Saturday was Cody and Randy. Sunday, Punk was busted open. And then Monday, Braun Breaker. And he wasn't the only guy who bled this week on the show, actually. But Braun's busted. He spears Seth Rollins, and he hits a second spear. And he poses over him, so that's the direction. Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins really should have been a WrestleMania match if it wasn't for Braun Breaker's injury. We got a JD Mcdana promo next. Then Finn Balor was out in his leather jacket. Then JD came out with his ribs taped after taking that brutal backdrop on the ladder yesterday. That was a nasty bump, man. It didn't even look good. It's like he landed on the side of the ladder. It looked like shit, and I think he was saying "motherfucker" after he took that brutal bump, man. That was nasty to watch. So we got Finn Balor, JD McDonough. Finn was busted from the mouth, so he had more blood, and he won with the coup de grace. Afterwards, he was attacked by Dom, but he fought him off. Backstage, Jackie Redmond interviews Gunther after his win. He wants the World Heavyweight Championship back, and right when I heard that, I was thinking, oh, I guess, the favor from Paul, if he wants that world title, I mean, he didn't tease anything with Paul. I'm not sure if he's going to face Brock at SummerSlam now. But LA Knight walked up to him, and he also wants a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship. They preview Raw next week. Joe Hendry is now on Raw. There's going to be a Joe Hendry concert on Raw next week now. That's cool. So that's cool for Hendry. He's on Raw. I didn't think he'd be in NXT for very long when he came there, but he's in NXT. He's going to be done in NXT this Tuesday after he loses on NXT Revenge. And then we go backstage. Io Sky and Rhea Ripley said their goodbyes together. They hug, they embrace. Rhea and Io are both very emotional. Rhea loves Io. Io loves Rhea. And they say their goodbyes. Rhea's going to SmackDown. And then as Rhea was leaving, Liv Morgan was just laying down on production boxes, and she says she'll see her around. And Rhea kind of acknowledges her. And I don't know if we'll see Rhea and Liv again. I think that feud went on too long, about a year and a half ago now. That feud just went on way too long. But it was good to start when it was around SummerSlam and stuff. But I think I don't want to go back to that right away. But they teased it. So then Roman Reigns exits his vehicle. He makes his way through backstage, through Gorilla as he embraces the Usos, and then he takes them to the ring with him. I guess we're getting a Bloodline reunion, it seemed like. The Usos point their fingers up with Roman. But then Jacob Fatu comes out. Roman asks why he's out there. Fatu says he needs a World Heavyweight Championship. He wants Roman's life. He wants, the cars. He wants a better life for his family. And then he challenges him at Backlash. Roman wants Jacob to acknowledge him, and he's going to think if he's going to agree to face him at Backlash. So that's a big match. One thing that's disappointing is I felt like they should have built this up. They should have, done this major match with Roman and Jacob because I think it can be really well done. I just hate that they're giving it away so early at Backlash, and, there's no chance in hell Jacob's winning. I wouldn't mind this like being at a SummerSlam or something like that, but, Backlash, whatever. It feels like they're just going to use this as Roman's first opponent. Not much to it, but it is what it is. That was Raw. I thought it was a recap night. The night after WrestleMania, it's always one of the best shows of the year. The biggest disappointment for me is there was no fuck TKO chants. I wanted fuck TKO all night. I thought we were going to get it after we were chanting it last night on the post show. We didn't get fuck TKO chants. It's disappointing. I hate TKO. Fuck TKO. Fuck TKO. But as compared to the Raws after Mania in the past, not the best, but not one of the worst. Last year was actually really, really good, and this wasn't as good as that. But the one 2 years ago was really good too. The one 3 years ago was horrible. That's the one Vince ruined in Los Angeles. But usually Raw after Mania is fun. It's fun. A lot of the crowds just aren't the same though. There used to be these crowds, the Raw after WrestleMania. I would always look forward to it. They would hijack the show. They would chant like the craziest chants, not just swear words. Like, they would just chant everything. But nowadays, it's so much more tame than that. It's usually an energetic crowd still, but it just isn't the same as it used to be. It's not what it once was. It's still a better Raw than it is for, almost all. It's one of the better Raws of the year, no doubt. But it's just not what it once was. And the Raw after WrestleMania now is just another Raw. That's the worst part about it. It's no longer the special show. It's no longer the crazy fans with the most wildest chants, and it's not the same anymore. That's all I have to say. The Raw after WrestleMania is just not the same.